Good evening. It's Saturday, the 4th of October. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from ARIRANG's news centre in Seoul. It's fabulous to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. We start this evening with the surprise visit to South Korea by a high-level North Korean delegation led by the regime's second most powerful man. Their arrival in the South earlier today is raising hopes for a breakthrough in inter-Korean relations. Let's go straight over to our correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at Seoul's Unification Ministry. Sung-hee, the delegation met with South Korean officials earlier today. Do we know what they've been talking about?
Mark, a surprise move by North Korea yet again. Pyongyang notified South Korea last night that it was sending a high-level delegation to attend the closing ceremony of the Asian Games. Now, the delegation, which is being led by North Korea's number 2, Hwang Sung-hee, arrived at Incheon at around 10 a.m. this morning and held a near 2-hour luncheon with South Korean National Security Director Kim Kwan-jin and Unification Minister Ryu Gil-jae. Now, the atmosphere at the meeting was very amicable. It started off with the officials shaking hands and saying the sporting event should serve as a catalyst for improved inter-Korean relations. Take a listen.
또 남북 축구 간에도 보니까 넘어지면 서로 손잡고 일으켜주기도 하고 그래서 아하 선수끼리 동포애가 작용하는구나. 가을이 결실하게 됐다. 남북 관계도 아마 큰 수확을 이렇게 거두어야 되지 않겠느냐 생각합니다.
이런 그 자랑스러운 성과를 거뒀기 때문에 이제 이런 뜻깊은 자리가 걸릴만하다고 생각합니다. 앞으로 이거 다 모르고 이렇게 저렇게 보던 분이지만은 또 앞으로 이렇게 처음 만났으니까 더 구면이 되기를 바라서 바랍니다.
But unfortunately, there was no groundbreaking inter-Korean agreement. The officials agreed to hold a second round of high-level talks sometime in late October and early November at a time preferred by South Korea. Mark?
Now, Sung-hee, isn't this the highest level of exchanges we've seen between the two Koreas since President Park took office early last year?
Definitely, Mark. It definitely is. The delegation is made up of the 3 of the most highest-ranking officials in North Korea. Let's actually take a look at this chart here. Hwang Sung-hee is the regime's second most powerful man as the vice chairman of the National Defense Commission. Choi Ryong-hae was removed from his post as the number 2, but was named the chairman of the State Physical Culture and Sports Guidance Commission earlier this month, which was one of the positions held by Chang Song-taek. Kim Yang-gun is, of course, a well-known figure for those following North Korea because he has been the man in charge of inter-Korean relations since 2007. He was actually dispatched to South Korea as an envoy of former North Korean leader Kim Jong-il twice in 2007 and 2009. Now, they are expected to hold a meeting with South Korean Prime Minister Chung Won-won before attending the closing ceremony of the Incheon Asian Games, but reflecting on history, what we still have to watch for is the possibility of the delegation asking to meet with President Park to deliver a personal message from their leader, Kim Jong-un, before taking off to North Korea at 10 p.m. tonight. This has been Hwang Sung-hee reporting live from the Unification Ministry.
Well, thank you, Sung-hee, for that report. Now, the presidential office of Cheong Wa-dae has had to be on its toes during this unexpected visit by the highest-ranking North Korean delegation to come to South Korea since President Park took office. The presidential chief of staff, Kim Ki-chun, held a meeting of his senior secretaries to discuss the trip by Hwang Byung-seo, Choi Ryong-hae and Kim Yang-gun, who arrived, like Sung-hee said, from Pyongyang on Saturday morning. South Korea's ruling and opposition parties have both welcomed this visit. The ruling Saenuri Party says it hopes the trip will help resolve conflicts between the Koreas. The main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy also welcomed the delegation and expressed hopes talks between the two sides go well. Now, for an in-depth look at the meaning, implications and prospects that might arise out of this surprise visit by the North Korean delegation, we're joined on the line by Dr. Kim Hyun-uk, who is professor at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy. Dr. Kim, thanks ever so much for joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now, this visit is historic and could have great implications for improved inter-Korean ties. The delegation is by far the highest ranking to come to the South in recent memory. Firstly, why do you think they decided to come, and what is the significance of these specific officials coming?
Well, I think we have to look at inside North Korea first. Ever since the inauguration of Kim Jong-un, there was some of the important military provocations. At the end of 2012, they launched the long-range missiles. Early 2013, which was last year, they did a third nuclear test. So the year 2013, they were pretty much hostile to the neighboring countries, especially South Korea. So we were kind of wondering why they suddenly changed their posture in 2014, which is totally different from the year past, which is 2013. So I think we can think that 2013, Kim Jong-un was still in the process of consolidating his power. And 2014, I think Kim Jong-un's power is pretty much consolidated. He's pretty much on the stage of establishing his Seoul governing system. He removed Jang Sung-taek. So I think now his domestic power is pretty much consolidated, and he's now ready to have a normal relationship with neighboring countries, including South Korea. So that's, I think, the first reason. Second is that now Kim Jong-un has a bad relationship with China. North Korea-China relations after the third nuclear test is still very bad, has not restored yet. So I think under this vein and background, Kim Jong-un needs to diversify his relationship with a lot of countries like Russia, Japan, South Korea. North Korea-China relations has been a pivotal one. And then with no restoration in its relationship with China, I think Kim Jong-un needs to have a good relationship with South Korea now.
And Dr. Kim, to most people, this seems like rather a spontaneous visit, really. Is there any historic precedent for surprise high-level talks between the Koreas? Surely this trip must have been planned by North Korea for quite a while now.
Yes, I think this is a very typical, method that North Korea uses whenever they have some stalemates. One of the examples, the closest one, is that in 2009, during the Lee Myung-bak government, they sent high-level officials to South Korea as a condolences groups for previous President Kim Dae-jung. And the dual purpose at the time was also to restore the relationship between South and North Koreas. And during the Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun government, when South and North Korea, were about to have a summit meeting, of course, North Korea sent delegates to South Korea for successful summit meetings with between North and South Koreas. And also, North Korea also once asked some, delegates sent from the United States too, with hostages within North Korea, and also asking indirectly to the United States to send high-level officials as ambassadors or convoys. North Korea always tried to use that kind of chances to normalize the relations and open the dialogue that has been stalemated, and so forth. So I think this is not something new. This has been always the patterns of South Korea to overcome the deadlocks that they had in their negotiations with neighboring countries.
And the video we've been watching while you were talking has been showing the meeting between the North Korean delegation and South Korea's top security official Kim Kwan-jin, a very powerful man here in South Korea, and also Seoul's Unification Minister. So they obviously aren't just here to watch the closing ceremony of the Incheon Asian Games. Do you think today's talks potentially could serve as a key moment for inter-Korean ties over the coming months and years?
Yes, I think so. South and North Korea has already had a high-level meeting at the early this year, and South Korean government asked North Korea to have another second round of high-level officials meeting. But the reason why there were no responses from North Korea at the time was that that was the time that South Korea and the United States were having a military exercise, which is called as Ultra Freedom Guardian exercise. So it was not a good time for North Korean side, the United States and South Korea are having a military exercises, which is threatening towards North Korea, and North Korea would not be able to, say yes for the dialogue, another round of dialogue. So I think now the exercise is done, and it's a good timing, right? It's an Asian Game closing ceremony, good excuses to visit South Korea. So it was a good time for North Korean delegates to visit South Korea. So as I have mentioned, this is a very good timing and good mood for North Korean government to initiate a relationship with South Korea. I think I want to mention two things. First, North Korean policy is now to pursue simultaneous pursuit of nuclear weapons and economic development. Of course, this is not an easy task for North Korea because United States and South Korea and China all demands North Korea to give up and remove its nuclear weapons. And under these circumstances, it's not easy for North Korea to achieve its economic development because for North Korea, the economic development can be only achieved by a lot of aid and assistance from outside external countries. But still, as far as these two simultaneous goals and objectives of North Korea is concerned, North Korea definitely needs some good relationship and exchanges and economic exchanges with South Korea. So under this background, I think North Korea would be eager to maintain and develop a relationship with South Korea. The second thing is that South Korean government also needs to make an important decisions right now. The trust-building process of South Korean government has been the initial goals and objectives of its policy towards North Korea. But in some sense, in some time, probably after there was a summit meeting between the United States and South Korea, so the South Korean government's North Korea policy has changed. It has become a two-track policy, like focusing on trust building, but at the same time trying to deter North Korean threats. So now it's very obscure what is the essence and core of the current government's policy towards the North. So I think now it's a critical time for President Park Geun-hye to make a decision, which way is South Korea's North Korea policy objective.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kim, for your insights this evening and your time, of course. That was Dr. Kim Hyun-wook from the Korea National Diplomatic Academy on the surprise visit to South Korea by a delegation of three of North Korea's most powerful officials. Now, in the rest of the day's news, the official reason the North Korean delegation are in town is for the closing ceremony of the Incheon Asian Games, and the curtain will come down on the sporting extravaganza this evening with a star-studded celebration of the athletes' participation and achievements. Our Song Ji-sun reports on what has been a very successful Games for both of the Koreas.
All sporting competitions came to a close on Saturday afternoon. Only the closing ceremony remains where participating athletes from all 45 countries will celebrate their achievements at the Incheon Asian main stadium. South Korea's western port city will pass the Asian Games flag to Jakarta, the host city for the 2018 Games, at the end of the 2.5-hour ceremony. Sporting-wise, China cemented its status as Asia's strongest sports powerhouse with over 150 gold medals. South Korea finished in a comfortable second place for the 5th straight Asian Games, falling slightly short of its goal of winning 90 gold medals. North Korea achieved its goal of finishing in the top 10 for the first time in 12 years, at 7th overall in the medal standings. North Korean athletes set 4 new world records in weightlifting, ranking 4 golds in the sport. North Korea also won gold in women's football and silver in men's event in an inter-Korean match against the South. South Korea had their best moments in the ball game, sweeping goals in men's football, baseball, and basketball. At this year's Asian Games, the honor of the most valuable player went to Japan's swimming sensation